In this video, we're going to help you determine if the Presa Canario is the right breed for you and your family. Let's get it. If you're looking for a Presa Canario, it's possible you're cross-shopping the Italian Mastiff as well. We got Thanos here, 2 years old and about 120 to 130 pounds, and about 6-7 months old, 80-85 pounds, and he's going to probably top out 140, 150. He's maxed out at that 120, 130 range. Other differences: cropped ears, long tail, dock tail usually. They come in similar colors, but they also have some differentiating colors between them. Drools a lot, but not nearly as much. More athletic, a little more beefy, a little less athletic. Usually more drive, more toy drive, more prey drive. They do have toy and prey drive, but these guys are going to be a little bit more bigger boned, heavier, a little beefier. You can even see it in the way that they run. He's got a beautiful gait about him, and he's kind of just trucking along. Still looks beautiful, just a different look altogether. Great with families and children, can be good with families and children. Both of them, you need to do a lot of research. You got to socialize them early, and you got to get the training done nice and early as well. So either way, if you're looking for one of these, again, I always caution you to really think hard about it before you pull the trigger. But if you're into either of these breeds, you really can't go wrong with either. All right, now let's talk about the breed history. This working breed has a rich and fascinating history. Also known as the Canary Mastiff, or the Perro de Presa Canario, is a powerful Spanish breed that originates from the Canary Islands, which are located off the coast of Morocco. The breed's ancestry can be linked to the ancient Molosser dogs brought to the islands by Spanish conquistadors and colonizers during the 15th and 16th century. These powerful and robust dogs were initially used for various purposes, including guarding livestock, hunting wild game, and even participating in dogfighting. Over the centuries, the Presa Canario evolved through selective breeding, with breeders focusing on traits such as strength, endurance, and loyalty. However, the breed faced a decline in numbers during the 20th century due to changing agricultural practices and societal shifts. In the 1970s, dedicated enthusiasts embarked on a mission to revive the Presa Canario, and through careful breeding programs, the breed began to regain its recognition and popularity. Today, the Presa Canario is recognized as a noble and imposing breed, valued for its protective nature, intelligence, and unwavering loyalty to its family. Similar to the Cane Corso, the Presa Canario was also used as a catch dog for boar hunting, and today both the Corso and the Presa are still used as catch dogs for boar hunting. All right, now let's talk about the breed facts of the beautiful Presa Canario. As you know, here in America, we like to put on that size. Bigger is better, especially in Texas. The breeding programs here in America, you're gonna get a bigger, bulkier dog, whereas the European lines stay more true to their roots, not quite as big, not quite as tall, not quite as heavy. When we're talking about weight, females, anywhere from 84 pounds up to 110 pounds. Males, we're talking 110 pounds up to 140, maybe even 150 pounds. As far as height at the withers, the Presas are a little shorter than the Italian Mastiffs by like an inch or two, but the females are going to be 22 to 24 inches, whereas the males are going to be 22 up to 26 inches. Now, moving on to the colors. We're talking about fawn, brindling, silver, brown, gold, orange, and all of that with or without markings, with or without brindling. Now, as far as the AKC considers them, they are part of the working group. Now, as far as life expectancy, you're talking 9 to 11 years on average. Now, moving on and talking about health issues. Luckily, the Presa Canario is one of the healthiest Mastiffs around, so you don't have a lot of health issues. But like with any dog, especially a larger breed dog, 3 big things to keep an eye out for: bloat, hip and elbow dysplasia. And it just so happens with those Mastiff breeds, because they got a little bit of that extra droopier skin, you can have some eye conditions like cherry eye, or things can get into their eye and cause some issues. But overall, very healthy dogs. If you get a Presa Canario or an Italian Mastiff, we always encourage you to check out our amazing suite of online courses at DIYcanine.com. Help you train your dog from zero to hero, no matter what breed you get. All right, now we're going to talk about the temperament and trainability of the Presa Canario. Starting with training. First and foremost, they are definitely intelligent, but god awfully stubborn. When it comes to the Presa Canario, trust me when I tell you, they think long and hard about, should I sit, should I not? And so you definitely want to underscore all of their training with compulsion style training, meaning they have to understand leash pressure, they have to understand e-collar pressure. Moving on, they have enough drive, not crazy drives and not no drive, but a medium amount of drive, enough for that you can do obedience training and you can do protection sports with them. Now, as far as them being a guard dog, that's what it's all about, folks. That's probably why you're considering this dog, is their natural ability to be a guard dog. You don't need to teach it. They come pre-installed from the factory with it, but you don't need to train them to bark and be on guard at that front door, that back door, that side yard. Anybody they don't know, even people they do know, they're gonna put on a big show and they will back up that show with a bite. Trust me when I tell you. Now, when we put here that no training's required acquired that's specifically talking about their natural ability to guard. Once again, you don't need to teach them that. You do need to counterbalance that with an off switch, which can be taught in protection sports. One of the first and foremost things you need in protection sports is a dog that's unbelievably obedient. And now, last but not least, not for the novice owner. This is not recommended for your very first dog. I really don't recommend that. This is a lot of dog. In fact, I would go as so far to say it's not a good dog for 99% of you. All right, now I know when I say that, that just makes you want to get the dog more, but I got to speak the God's honest truth. Just like the Italian Mastiff, which is near and dear to my heart, not for 99% of folks. Same with the Presa Canario. It is a lot of dog. This naturally wants to try to murder anybody that comes into your home. Now that seems a little extreme, and I want to make it extreme because these dogs are capable of killing humans, are capable of killing other dogs. So we have to be very careful of that. All right, moving on. Training and socialization mandatory. Just to continue what I was talking about, I'll slide over here. When you get this dog, again, naturally going to be a guardian. Therefore, you got to counterbalance that with early socialization and early and non-stop training. If you don't socialize these dogs, what you're gonna get is anybody that's not in their immediate circle, like your Uncle Jeff who comes by once or twice a year, probably comes stumbling in the door drunk at 3 in the morning if he's coming down for vacation at your home. Uncle Jeff's gonna find out real quick what the business end of a Presa Canario is all about because the dog doesn't know Uncle Jeff, just thinks it's a stranger breaking in. So what you do is, as a young age, we need to be able to let the Presa know we do have friends and family that come over. People can come up and pet you and love you, and not everybody is a threat. We want to make sure the Presa isn't out there being so reactive that you can't take them on a walk. All right, moving on. Not great apartment dog. Why do I say that? These dogs need some land, some backyard to roam and express their natural drive to run along the fence line and secure the perimeter. If they're in a tight little apartment, they're not going to be able to do that. They might consider your whole apartment complex as their area to guard, and that can cause some issues when you run across other dogs or people in the neighborhood. Animal and dog aggression. Now, this is probably the biggest fault of this breed, is that they can be a little more selective on who they want to be friends with. Unlike maybe a golden retriever that wants to be friends with everybody, the Presa Canario, they're going to be a little quick to not only be aggressive towards humans, but let's say your neighbor's cat, your neighbor's dog. Let's just say they don't always get along well with others. If you got this as a dominant dog and any other dog in the neighborhood tries to challenge a Presa Canario, you got two big bad dogs in the same vicinity, somebody's going to test somebody, and it could lead to a dog fight very quickly. And of course, young children. Going back to the idea that they can be very dominant, what's it going to be like when you're 4, 6, 8, 10 or even 12-year-old kid? Are they going to be able to walk them? Are they going to be able to handle them? Is the dog going to listen to them? What about food aggression? Now, all breeds can have some level of food aggression. It's not like saying Presas have it, but if you have a Presa that has a little bit of resource guarding, whether it's a toy, a food, bone, and we have a family member come over and go to pet them or maybe take the ball from them, that dominance issue could come out. You can have a big problem. So with any large guardian breed or power breed, we always want to be careful around young children. I'm not saying you can't have one in your house if you have young children. You just got to be extra specially careful. Make sure you socialize them early, that they love your kids and they respect your kids. And last but not least, they're dangerous. These were not bred, once again, to be lapdog. They're bred to be guardians. So if you're getting one, be careful. It's like having a loaded gun in your home. You just can't lock this up in a safe and leave it there. You can put it in a crate maybe, but it can't be in a crate all day, every day. It's got to be out. It's got to do its thing. And so if you don't have a fence that's squared away, these boogers will jump right over, right under, bust through a gate that if it's not properly secured, and you got a big problem on your hands. Huge liability, which leads me to another thing you got to consider if you're going to be renting an apartment. Maybe in an HOA neighborhood, you could have problems with this dog being on a banned list and you might not be allowed. So it's going to make life a little difficult for you in that sense. And when it comes to choosing this breed, if you're going to choose this breed, think long and hard about it. Meet a couple of them. Take one for a walk. Make sure it's the right thing for you. Don't just watch this one video and say, I'm getting one. Do your research. And if you finally say that this is the breed for you, then the next step where you got to do a ton of research is the breeder. Because not all breeders are breeding for the same. Some are breeding for looks, for size, for that aggression, for the drive, and others are breeding for a more calm temperament. So make sure you're choosing the breeder correctly. Don't just go for the looks. Find out what that lineage is about, because if it's a strong working line dog with a lot of protection instincts and it's just an absolute killer, the offspring has a big chance of being that way too. So make sure you're meeting the mom and the dad and grandpa and grandma if you can, and find out what kind of dogs that breeder is putting out. Make sure you get the right breeder for you. So this is Roxy. She's about between 6 and 7 month old Presa Canario. She's a female. She's got a super sweet temperament, wouldn't hurt a fly, plays great with the kids, great with other dogs. A little rough playing, but that kind of comes with the territory. Very strong, very dominant dogs. And she's probably around 65 plus pounds and growing. And she's going to top the scales, definitely over 100 pounds. She is also owned by an NFL football player who plays for the Tampa Bay Bucks. So this is Rocco, also between 6 and 7 months old. He's a litter mate to Roxy, and he's more about 80, 85 pounds. He's going to be 140, 150 pounds when it's all said and done. He is a big boy. He is also a gentle giant, but he's a very dominant dog, very, very confident. Nothing scares him, and we just got to keep a close eye on him because this is the type of dog that will walk all over you, not respect you, not listen to you. He's a humper. Let's just put it plainly. He's a humper. Doesn't mean anything personal by it. It's not a sexual thing. It's a, hey, I'm a big bad dude. So you would want to watch him around, you know, small children and other dogs. This is the type of dog that's going to mount you for the fun of it. You don't have the physical strength to hold a dog like this back. Should he want something, it might be too much dog for you. So as you're probably aware by now, both Rocco and Roxy are litter mates. I do not recommend you get any dog of any breed as litter mates. It causes a lot of issues. Basically, they form a pack upon themselves, and you're just the zookeeper that comes around and feeds them every once in a while, but you're not really part of the pack. And luckily, we've been able to train them pretty early, keep them separate from the beginning so as to eliminate or at least trim back a little bit on that litter mate syndrome. But as you can see here, typical stuff from litter mates, they just can't get enough of each other. And it's sweet and all, but it causes a lot of issues down the road. You want to talk about separation anxiety, you want to talk about trying to train them. They basically can't live without each other, and when they are near each other, they don't listen to anybody. I'm not saying these two in particular, but litter mate syndrome overall, but you can see a touch of it here because they've just grown up their entire life together. So that's a little side note for you. If you want to get a Presa, get one. Don't get two at the same time. Whether they're from the same litter or not, it doesn't matter. You just don't want two dogs like this or any other breed to grow up with another puppy. Do your own research. You can find out more about litter mate syndrome and how it can affect the well-being and the training of your dog. And now it's time for the dog score, starting with the category of practicality. We give the Presa Canario a score of 6. Due to their size, aggressive, guardian-like nature, they're typically not friendly outside of their immediate family. Taking care of, transporting them, and bringing them out in public is not as easy as some smaller and friendlier breeds. They are starting to appear on ban lists for rental properties and HOAs, so asking anyone in your family who weighs less than the dog does to walk it down the street could pose serious problems. And let's face it, just about everybody in your household is gonna weigh less than this dog. Moving on to temperament, we give the Presa a score of 4. Not great with other dogs and small animals, very dominant and stubborn. You, as an owner, will need both a strong physical and powerful leadership presence to handle a dog of this caliber. Moving on to the category of workability, we give the Presa Canario a score of 5. These dogs won't be winning any agility competitions anytime soon. They are very bulky and thick-boned dogs who can tire out more easily than other breeds, such as a German Shepherd or a Belgian Malinois. Though they will naturally excel in a protection role, they may not have, for instance, the flashiest focused heel. In the category of family, we give the Presa a score of 5. They will be great with the inner circle of those humans that they have grown up with. However, their behavior around strangers, other dogs, and animals is questionable at best. Compared to breeds like the Labrador and Golden Retriever, they are definitely not in my top 10 list of the best family dogs. In the protection category, you guessed it, we're given a score of 10 out of 10. There is no question in terms of this dog's look, size, and natural guarding abilities. This breed will be able to deter any four-legged or two-legged critter that wanders onto your property unannounced. In the exercise category, we give the Presa a score of 8. These dogs do require a large yard to express their natural urge to patrol the perimeter of your property. However, between 1 and 2 long or medium walks a day, or a quick game of playing fetch or tug, it should be enough to satisfy most Presas on a daily basis. In the grooming category, a 9 out of 10. With their short coat, they have little to no grooming requirements and they don't shed much. However, they do drool a little while they eat and drink, which is something you can't get away from with any Mastiff breed, but other than that, they're pretty easy to take care of. In the health category, a solid 8 out of 10. They are very stout and overall physically healthy dogs. With a proper diet and exercise, they can live up to 9 to 11 years or longer, which is impressive for a dog of their size. But of course, with any dog of that size, we always have to watch out for that hip and elbow dysplasia and the potential for bloat, especially as they get older. In the trainability category, we give them only a 6 out of 10. Now, with moderate to sometimes high toy, prey, and food drive, if you couple that with their laid back, hard-headed, and what I refer referred to as an immovable nature that they have about themselves. They are not at the top of my list for fast and exciting activities like catching a frisbee or flashy obedience. They can, however, excel in protection work as they have really strong confidence and strength and a dominating mindset. And finally, the X factor. We give the Presa Canario an 8 out of 10. They have a really cool and intimidating look with the tiger stripes, the size, and the rarity of this breed. People are gonna think you somehow crossed a tiger with a grizzly bear and a pit bull to achieve this beast of a dog. Now, that gives us a total score of 69 out of 100 for the Presa Canario. So now that you've got to learn a little bit more about the Presa Canario, I hope this video has shed some light for you and help you determine whether or not the Presa Canario is gonna be the right fit for you and your family. But regardless of if you choose a Presa Canario or any other power breed that's out there, or any other breed for that matter, it always comes down to making sure that that dog is properly socialized and gets the proper training early on so that they become an asset to your family and not a liability. So if you're interested in finding more, we always recommend you check out our videos available at DIYcanine.com so that you can train your dog to be the best that it can be. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.